I'm Logan Reed, and for 21 years, I believed that routine was the glue holding a marriage together. My wife, now my soon-to-be ex pending only the paperwork, was Diana Mercer Reed, a high school English teacher who could recite Frost in the cereal aisle and correct a misplaced comma with a single raised eyebrow. Together, we raised our two children from our first marriages, Kelsey, 26, and Aiden, 24. They call me Dad. I never asked for that title. They decided I'd earned it. Friday nights were sacred. No screens, no distractions, just the two of us and whatever I managed not to burn for dinner. That particular night, it was lasagna, a rare triumph. We were talking about one of her students' essays, something about a paper boat on a river, how the kid had turned a field trip into a philosophical reflection. Diana laughed, bright and warm. Then, as if switching radio stations, she said, "I should tell you, I've been seeing someone from work." The world didn't collapse, it suspended. The hum of the kitchen shifted, the fridge's buzz morphing into the wail of sirens. My voice, when it came, was eerily calm. "What do you mean?" She met my gaze, her pupils glassy, her hands trembling. "His name is Tyler Vance. He coaches track. We started getting coffee after school, walking the river trail." She swallowed. "It's not love, it's a spark. I didn't want to hide it from you." A spark, the word scraped against my ribs like a struck match. "You're telling me this because," I asked, steady as I could manage, "because you're stopping or because you want my blessing?" Diana exhaled, a breath I recognized, the one she took before delivering lines she'd practiced in the car mirror. "I'm telling you because I don't want secrets. I'm 56. Time doesn't whisper anymore, it shouts. He makes me feel seen. It's not meant to last. She faltered. "I don't want to lose us. There are moments in a marriage when you hear two futures click shut like doors, and you're left standing, wondering which one locked you in." My chest ached, hollow and overflowing all at once. Memories flooded me. Courthouse vows, Kelsey's braces, the same month the car's transmission died, the way Diana tucked her hair behind her ear when she read. I wanted to argue, to demand answers, to run. Instead, I listened. "Have you crossed a line you can't uncross?" Her eyes fixed on the oven light. "We've gone further than coffee. I'm not proud." But then she added, "The truth is, the change in me, the confidence, the energy, it's been felt at home too. You've even said so. I wish it had come from somewhere else. I wish I could explain it better." She reached for my hand. I pulled back, setting my napkin down as if it weighed 1,000 pounds. "I need air," I said. Outside, the evening was brutally ordinary. Neighbors walked their dog, a teenager practiced parallel parking, tapping the curb. I sat on the front step until the porch light flickered on, automatic, indifferent. Back inside, I grabbed an overnight bag, tossing in clothes without seeing them. Diana didn't block the door. She didn't cry dramatically. She just whispered, "Please don't leave like this." "I'm not the one who left," I replied, closing the door gently. Anger wouldn't dictate my manners. I checked into a cheap apartment hotel on the edge of downtown, the carpet smelling of other people's choices. In that dim room, I wrote 2 lists, what I know and what I won't do. I know, she told me, it's not a rumor. I won't scream, threaten, turn our life into a spectacle. If I end this, it will be clean. If I fight for it, it will be honest. At 3 a.m., I called a lawyer. I expected judgment or pity. Instead, I got clarity. Document everything. Step away from shared accounts. If you stay in the house, use a separate bedroom. Record important conversations. Don't destroy property. Don't post online. Decide what outcome you can live with and move toward it like it's your job. I didn't sleep, but I had a job to do. I met Diana at a marketing firm where I was the over-eager grad school intern. She dropped off copy for an education campaign we were running, red pen, clean margins, tired eyes. She had 2 young kids and an ex who had vanished like a speeding ticket he never intended to pay. My parents didn't understand why I fell for a woman 7 years older, with children and a spine of steel. I didn't ask them to understand. I asked Diana to dinner after my graduation. She said yes, like the word scared her a little. Our wedding was at the courthouse, a sprig of baby's breath. a pastry box from a bakery that misspelled my name as Logan. My parents came around eventually. Kelsey came around faster. I fixed her wobbly bike seat and never missed a school play. Aiden let me in one Lego brick at a time. Our life wasn't glamorous, but it was golden. Diana graded papers at the kitchen table while I built a career that finally felt like more than a stack of business cards. We got good at being tired together, at choosing small kindnesses when we had nothing left. We had a rule. If you were mad, you said it without venom. If you were wrong, you admitted it without delay. For 2 decades, it worked. Then came a teacher workday and an athletic department hire, and a new name started appearing in Diana's stories. Coach Vance. At first, it was small, a story about a kid who shaved 5 seconds off his sprint, how the coach had a silly superstition about lucky socks. Then there were more walks along the river trail in her descriptions, more coffee runs. When she confessed, the ordinary details became coordinates. I could map it. A hallway compliment on a day the mirror lied, a late meeting that felt like energy instead of obligation. I didn't need salacious details. I wasn't a detective sketching floor plans. What I needed was respect and a path, either to repair what was broken or to exit cleanly. On Monday, I went home to talk. Diana was cooking as if nothing seismic had shifted beneath us. She set down a spatula, moved to kiss my cheek, and I stepped back. "I'm meeting with an attorney," I said. "I'll stay in the guest room until I find a rental. Don't ambush me with conversations. If you want to talk, text me first so I can record it." Her face flickered, hurt, then hardening, then hurt again. "You'd record me?" "I'm protecting both of us from twisted memories," I replied. "I won't lie about you. Don't lie about me." That night, I carried my suitcase down the hall to the guest room, its quilt the soft blue Kelsey had picked in 8th grade. I opened a notes app and wrote new rules: separate accounts, separate laundry, separate bathrooms. The house, once a choreographed dance, now had lanes. The next morning, on my usual neighborhood walk, a shadow stepped into my path. A 30-something man with a runner's build and the face of someone who'd never had to choose between charming and smug. "Mr. Reed, Logan, I'm Tyler." His voice was the kind people use on skittish dogs and angry customers. "And we talk for 5 minutes?" I nodded, not for his sake, but to avoid giving the neighbors a show. "We never meant to hurt you," he said, smooth and rehearsed. "Diana speaks so highly of you. You raised her kids. You're a good man. This isn't about replacing you. It's seasonal. She's rediscovering herself. She loves you. Don't blow up your lives over something temporary." I held up a hand. "Stop. You're not a counselor. You're a man who crossed into my marriage. I don't need your reassurance or your sales pitch." His mouth opened, closed. I stepped around him and kept walking. By Friday, I'd leased a small apartment with thin walls and a decent view of a diner sign. I moved out in one trip, with a rental truck and a neighbor who didn't ask questions. Diana stood on the porch, arms crossed like she was cold but wouldn't admit it. "We should talk logistics," she said. "And we will," I replied, "with counsel." She nodded, a beat too late to look like agreement rather than surrender. "You'll regret overreacting." I wanted to say, "I'll regret the years I didn't spend in peace, not the weeks I spent dismantling a pretty lie." But I saved it. Words are arrows. You don't loose them just to hear the twang. My lawyer, Angela Park, relentless and kind, gave me a checklist. Lock your credit, pull bank statements, document every conversation. I set up a separate P.O. box, rerouted my direct deposit, and quietly informed HR. I didn't want rumors doing my talking for me. Then I sent Diana a text, clinical and courteous. "All communications go through counsel except for scheduling logistics." She replied with a thumbs up. A message popped up soon after. "Logan, can we do coffee? Talk like people?" I screenshot it and forwarded it to Angela. I also did something I never imagined I would. I wrote Kelsey and Aiden a careful, measured message. Your mom and I are separating. It's not your burden to carry. I love you. When you're ready to talk, I'll answer what I can without asking you to choose sides. Kelsey called first, voice trembling, then furious, then tender. Aiden sent a single text, I'm with you. Then silence, the kind that hums with wait. Diana, of course, tried to steer the narrative. She requested a meeting at a bright public cafe, my phone recording on the table between us. This doesn't have to be a war, she started. War takes two, I said. It won't be. She twisted her ring, a tiny habit I'd once found endearing. Now it just looked different. You're really ending it over something I told you about. No, I said, steady. I'm ending it because you asked me to become someone who could nod and say, carry on when you put us third. Her eyes filled, but the words that should have followed, I'm stopping, I'll fix what I broke, never came. Apologies without decisions are just weather reports. I wasn't leaving my roof open to the forecast. The school district had policies, professional conduct, conflicts of interest, expectations for staff who mentor students. I didn't write those policies. I didn't threaten anyone. But I did submit a formal, factual complaint to HR about a relationship between a coach and a teacher on the same campus, one that, by their own handbook, created a perceived conflict and had spilled into the school community. I attached nothing ugly, only the time-stamped texts where Diana herself had described sneaking out of meetings to cool off and walk it off with tea. No adjectives, just facts. I didn't root for her to lose her job. I rooted for consequences that matched choices. The district placed them both on administrative leave pending review. Parents called, not out of moral outrage, but because of optics, because of trust. Tyler resigned before the investigation was typed up. Diana hired a union rep and cried in her car where no one could see. Angela filed the divorce petition. No harassment, no scorched earth. We requested the house be sold, proceeds split evenly. Diana's lawyer countered, she keeps the house, it's a home she curated. Angela's response was a single line, I'll frame that someday. This is where people expect fireworks, me catching them somewhere, me exploding, but rage is loud and short-lived. I wanted something quieter, something permanent, a life without lies, an agreement that reflected what I built, not what I'd lost. Diana showed up in my office cafeteria a week later, red-eyed and trembling, but not apologetic. You did this, she hissed. You cost me my classroom. I set my coffee down, my voice carrying just enough. I refused to rewrite the definition of marriage on the fly, that's all. Heads turned. Not in glee, but in the awkward pause of truth settling in. She opened her mouth, searching for a sentence to paint me as the villain. It didn't come. She left. The whispers in her wake weren't gossip. They were the sound of air getting thin where truth is scarce. At night, in the cramped apartment, I learned how to be alone again. I bought a single frying pan that didn't wobble. I ran 3 miles instead of scrolling through my phone. I read the book Diana had been praising for months and underlined every sentence about integrity like they were instructions for survival. Healing didn't feel like victory. It felt like breathing into a paper bag until the room stopped spinning. If you want to know how someone who cheats takes revenge, it's rarely clever. It's usually leverage. Diana's revised settlement demand arrived by email on a Wednesday at 4:12 p.m., that tired hour when people are too drained to fight. She wanted the house, full stop, plus a bigger slice of the investment, citing emotional contributions. Reading it, you'd think I'd been a tenant in my own life. Angela called before I could fire off a reply I'd regret. We can counter with a sale, or if she insists on keeping the house, a buyout at market price plus an offset for your grandfather's inheritance. The down payment check from a man who believed in settling what you owe. She paused. If she declines, the judge sees we offered fair. I remembered that check. I remembered the weight of it. Diana also tried a softer kind of revenge, the narrative. Through a mutual friend, I heard she'd told colleagues I'd abandon her over a midlife wobble. I didn't correct every room. I told the kids the truth. I gave the lawyers the facts. The rest of the world could keep its opinions at a distance where they couldn't bruise me. Kelsey called one night and cried the kind of cry that turns a grown woman back into a child who's scraped both knees. "I don't know how to love you both in this," she sobbed. "You don't have to choose," I said. "If people need you to lie to feel comfortable around them, that's not love. That's theater." Aiden went quiet for a while. The silence worried me more than any argument. Then one Saturday afternoon, he knocked on my apartment door, stepped inside, closed it behind him, and hugged me like he was anchoring us both to the floor. He didn't need explanations. He needed a place where the story didn't require him to look away. November brought an empty calendar and a holiday that could have been cruel. Diana planned a big dinner in the old house. No one showed. At noon, Kelsey texted, "Can I bring takeout? I don't want to sit in that kitchen." She arrived with steaming containers and a tentative smile. We didn't make speeches. We watched football we didn't care about and ate stuffing straight from the carton because plates felt too formal for this kind of mercy. Later, Aiden came by too. He didn't say much, but when he left, he added my apartment key to his ring. The small click of metal joining metal felt like a vow. The district's review concluded, officially, no policy violations severe enough to bar Diana from teaching again. Unofficially, they reassigned her. It wasn't exile. It wasn't triumph. It was consequences, modest, clarifying. The house listing went live the next week. Showings were brisk. Good school zone, updated kitchen, a paint color with a whimsical name. We accepted an offer above asking. Diana asked one last time to keep it, to pay me out slowly. Angela's smile over the phone sounded like a raised eyebrow. Lump sum or sale? No half measures. We chower softness. I didn't spike a football. I went to bed early and woke up early, because that's what rebuilding looks like. The turning point didn't come with a fiery courtroom monologue, but with a binder. Angela slid it across the mediation table, timeline of earnings, contributions, paper trail for the inheritance check that went into the down payment. Every mutual fund statement annotated, facts, not fireworks. Diana arrived in a blazer that used to mean game on during parent-teacher nights. She looked like she'd slept 3 hours a night for 3 months. Her lawyer made a pitch about equity in the spiritual sense. Angela responded with equity in the mathematical sense. Numbers don't flinch. Then Angela did something I'll remember long after the ink dries. She played a 30-second clip from my recorded cafe conversation with Diana, not to humiliate her, but to clarify intent. In the clip, Diana says, "I'm sorry I hurt you." She doesn't say she'll stop. She doesn't ask for counseling. Here's the part I didn't know I'd need. I wrote myself a promise. It fit on a sticky note. Never choose the short relief of bitterness over the long relief of dignity. I stuck it on my bathroom mirror, where a different life had once brushed its teeth. A month later, Diana made one last public counterpunch. She walked into my office cafeteria at lunch, cheeks blotchy, voice trembling with something bigger than anger. "You'll tell everyone, won't you, that you're the hero and I'm—" She couldn't finish. I stood, not towering, just present. "I'm not the hero," I said, loud enough for only the 2 nearest tables to hear. "I'm the man who refused to make peace with something that hurt the people I love. That's all." Someone dropped a fork. The ordinary sound made the moment human again. Diana's eyes filled. She left without drama, just a quick step, a door opening, a door closing. If there's a kind of revenge that isn't cruel, it's this, letting the truth stand on its own. Kelsey and Aiden brought me house plans for a new place. A small craftsman on a quiet street where the porch gets morning sun. We made spaghetti the first night, oversalted it, and laughed until we had to sit down. They asked if I'd ever forgive their mom. "Forgiveness isn't a performance," I said. "It's not a ladder. It's a door I'll open when I'm ready, not a prize she can demand. Until then, I'll be kind from a distance. What did I learn? That love without boundaries isn't kinder, it's hungrier. That telling the truth isn't a weapon unless you swing it like one. That you can walk away without turning your back on the years that were good. That a man can be both devastated and decent. On a Sunday morning in the new house, I made pancakes that were more ambition than skill. The coffee machine sputtered like an old friend trying to sing. Sun warmed the table. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was rehearsing a statement for some future argument. I was just a man eating breakfast, grateful for the quiet. And that, though it never trends, is the strongest revenge I know. A life rebuilt so well, it doesn't need an audience.